Hello!
Welcome back. Part 2 of our table runner tutorial.
Oh.
You've done a great job there.
Yeah, we'll give you a nice overhead shot so you can have a proper look. But I finished off the other 3 blocks, so we've got 5 blocks in total now. So we're about to move on to the next part, which is very exciting.
Yes, so you're doing borders,
we need to finish the top, so we're going to attach 2 borders.
Yes.
A lovely biscuit border to break up the pattern, and then we're going to put a second border, which you've chosen the yellow out of the range, the Regency Sussex range.
Yeah.
And then I believe you will be stepping back to help explain binding.
Yeah, they'll be able to meet through the binding. So,
and I'm just following their lead.
All in the same video, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the binding will be in a nice blue colour, which you'll see later on. But we'll give you a nice overhead so you can have a see of how we're going to construct it, and you can explain
what we're going to do.
Yes, exactly. And then we'll just get on with it and come back with the results. So let's go with the overhead. And
see you
Stuart's going to run away now.
Some work.
So this is what was done last week, as you can see, from one end all the way to the other.
So you've got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks, because this is going to fit your sideboard.
Yes.
We've measured again this morning to make sure.
Yes, just to make sure everything's going to fit.
And we've got some pretty good points here from your nesting your seams.
I know, so proud of myself.
So well done on those. And you squared up all the blocks, so they're all 8 inches, which has given us a lovely straight edge to work with along here. So what we're going to do first of all is we've already put the sashing in the vertical. Oh, horizontal, I don't know which way, looking at this way, but we've already put them in between.
Each of the blocks.
So what we need to do is we need another one on the end here, and we need to come along these long edges. So what we tend to do, and I don't know, I think some of it's to do with the maths of it, but we tend to do the long edge first. So we're going to attach, and luckily for us, this is just shy of 44 inches. So the width of the fabric is enough to cover the length of your runner. So we've stuck with this biscuit one. We're going to attach this, and although if you were working with charm packs you might work with a 2.5 inch strip, we've cut this, because we've cut this from a bolt, we're only working with 2 inches, so it gives you a slightly smaller border.
Yeah.
And we're going to attach the long edge first, and when we've got the 2 long edges here and over here, we'll then attach the other one going across.
And is there a particular reason you would do the long edges first?
It's just something that always seems to happen. I don't know if there must be a reason. It must go back eons with the whole quilting folklore. But I think sometimes it is to do with the measurements. It's a lot, you know, we are lucky that this is the width of the fabric, the whole runner. If you were doing a blanket, a baby blanket, that would probably be 1 metre, which again would be covered by the width of the fabric. But also it is slightly easier because this shorter length, you know you're going to get out of the width of the fabric.
Yes.
And it can therefore afford to go over that end.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at most quilts, it does that. And if I know Stuart did it the other way around once, and it doesn't quite look right. It doesn't look right if that goes over that, if it stops there. I think it just helps. It's easier on it breaks the pattern up to have that stop there and that go over it that way. So
but we're going to have an interesting time when it comes to this.
Yeah, so once we've done this one, you've chosen this lovely yellow to go on next, so it's going to be 2 borders. But unfortunately, because we've just hit 44 inches on this one is too short.
Yes, because it has to come up to the full length.
Yeah, so
of here.
Yeah, if we just it now has to cover the runner and the border. So what we will have to do is we still only need 3 strips from the width of the fabric, 1 for each end, and then the 2 ends here, there's enough fabric to cover the end and then attach onto this so that we can make it just that little bit longer. And what we'll do is we'll do a lovely diagonal cut to it. Well, it's not attachment. And then we'll have it quite close to this end, so that when in the centre of the runner you don't see the join. It'll be near the end of the thing. We'll have to do that on each side. But for this pattern, we're going to get enough out of 3 strips from the bolt to do that.
Fab. So we best get on and get...
So we'll get on and put this one on first, and then we'll probably come back and show you what it looks like, and then we'll show you how to attach these strips to make it longer and break. The whole reason for doing the diagonal is to break the bulk. Yeah. Which you'll see once we have a look.
Break the bulk.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For when it comes to sewing over it, if you do it in a vertical line, it creates a bulky.
Oh, okay. So it's better if it's on a diagonal.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
But we'll show that later.
Yes. So I'm going to go and get pinning and sewing.
I think we need to do a bit of pressing first.
Oh, pressing,
I'll do that while you get your sewing machine ready.
So I've managed to add my first border. So this is called the sash still?
The sashing, yeah.
Yeah. So you can see we've done it up and then across, as we talked about. And we're now about to move on to the next part.
So we need to, because you've chosen the lovely yellowy fabric to go with this one, haven't you?
Yes.
So
it acts as a nice counterbalance because there's a lot of blue.
Because we're also then going to put the blue binding on, so that'll frame it all nicely.
Yeah.
But because this is now over 44 inches long, because it's a runner, it means that we've got, this isn't the width of the fabric anymore, we need to join it into a longer length. So to do that, we're going to join it using a diagonal join, just so it just is less obvious going that way than it is if you try to do it as a straight join. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your two strips and you're going to lay the second strip on the top, right sides together obviously, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to sew in a diagonal from the corner down here to the top corner there, so that when we pull that back along that sewn line, it will then run in one long length, and we'll be able to then simply fill in the last bit of the gap that we need. We can cut the bulk off the back here, and that will smooth that out much better than having a straight seam, which that would have a lot of bulk underneath.
So that's what you meant about the bulk. So
yeah, so once we've sewn along here, we'll trim this excess off, and it will just lay flatter than if you had done it as a straight seam and all the bulk was in the same place.
Ah, fabulous.
So what we'll do, we're still going to get away with 3 strips because we actually probably only need about this much to finish it off.
Yeah.
We'll do the same on the other side, and then we should have enough left out of that third strip to do the tops along there.
Fabulous. Okay, so back to more sewing then.
Okay, so you've got your block, you've got your sashing, and you've now got your outside border on. Okay,
fabulous.
And I think we measured it and it comes to roughly 140 centimetres in length, or 55-ish inches, which again means that it's too big for the width of the fabric, because quilting fabric comes in at 42, 44 inches.
Yes.
So you've chosen to stick to this biscuit colour on the back, which is nice and plain. Yeah,
because you're not going to see the back. It's a table runner, so it's never going to be seen.
Yeah, so that means we can use 1/2 metre of that, and that 1/2 metre gets us to
bring us all the way down
this end with just this tiny little 6-inch, well, it's 5.5 inch gap, but because it's only 17 inches wide, we've got the excess cut off, and luckily, if I just lay it at that angle, you can see that that's going to be more than enough just to fill that gap. So there'll be a tiny seam along the back here, and like you say, it's a table runner, so it won't be seen.
Yeah. There are alternatives. We were talking about this. So if it's going to be more, you're doing a quilt or something like that, you might want to do it so you have a seam sort of in the middle of your quilt.
What some people will do is, because this is a range, you could take this or the equivalent in blue or whatever, and you might choose to have the yellow, and then you'll have a block of blue in the middle, and then you have the yellow at the other end. And you'd piece it together and have a pieced back, and then it kind of disguises the fact that you need to have a join like we're going to have here. Because we're just doing a table runner, we're not worried about having that join. It's going to be on the other
it's
side.
Going to be on the other side. It's never going to be seen.
And we haven't got to match a pattern because we're using plain fabric, so that's what keeps it nice and easy.
And we've also decided we're not going to add in any wadding because there are going to be things sitting on top of it. And the more you could do a nice thin layer. I personally am not that worried about having the wadding, so I'm happy for this to be quite thin because there's going to be bottles and various bowls and things sitting on top of it. So it works perfectly fine for me without the wadding. We are going to show the binding.
Well, yeah, even though we're not going to put the wadding in, we're going to show you how to bind, which you would do if there was wadding inside. Well, you could choose how to do it. When it comes to quilting, there are a couple of ways in which you could put the back on. So you could do what we're doing, which is you'd put the wadding in, and then you put the backing, and then you'd bind around the edge, which we'll talk about in the next video. We're just leaving the wadding out. But another alternative would be to do what we call bagging it, which is actually you'd have right side to right side, and you'd sew all the way round, inside out. You'd leave a small gap at the end and turn it inside out, and then it would all be sealed up, and you just hand stitch that tiny little gap. That's a possibility. And you can do that on ordinary quilts as well. Normally you'd do that perhaps with a baby quilt or a smaller quilt. The larger it is, the more you probably want to use binding because of the size of the wadding and everything else. But, you know, it's your own choices. It depends what you're using for. You're using this for a runner, you don't want it too bulky, you've already got some bulk from the seams here, so we've chosen to leave the wadding out of this one. You can buy heat-resistant wadding. Because I've made oven gloves before out of that, and if you, of course, you put heat-resistant wadding in there because it has like a foil layer in it, then you'd be able to have that on the table and put heat straight down, and it would protect the table. So you can make those choices when you decide what you're going to do. And if you would turn it, we've had this as a runner, but you know, we said you could easily have this pattern as a quilt, and of course you would then put the wadding in, and then you'd have to quilt around here, because that's the whole point of quilting, is that you'd quilt these shapes onto here to keep the wadding secure inside, because when you wash it you don't want the wadding to move, and because we wanted to finish this as well, to do the wadding you'd have to then go and do all the quilting, and it would take a really long time to do.
And it's not applicable for this particular project. We might do something separately if you're interested on how you would do the quilting, just the quilting stitch all by itself, and do that as a separate little video. But for this, I didn't want it like that. It's on a sideboard. It's just nice and flat, and it's just to add a bit of decoration. So. And
don't forget, if you're following the video and you're wanting to do the same thing, then because the wadding is enclosed, you just need, for this table runner, these measurements, 17 inches by 55, you'd still get away with half a metre of wadding, because it will be the same as the fabric. You'll just have to do a little join in the wadding on the inside. So
perfect.
you know, the measurements would be the same for the wadding as you have for the backing, if you choose to put that in.
Perfect. Right, so we're going to go and sew up this.
We're just going to sew up this, and then we'll layer it up, and the delightful Mr. Race is going to come back and talk to you about how to bind it.
Yes, so back in a minute. So we now have Stuart.
Hello. So we're now going to do the binding. Now, you've already discussed we're not wadding this, are we?
No, we've mentioned that. And we have, so we sewed the two back bits together, and we've now pinned all of these. If you were doing the wadding.
Yes, this would be, yes, if you were doing this as a proper quilt, the wadding would be in the middle, and you'd have pinned it, and we would now quilt it through the machine, and we might do stitch in the ditch, or we might do, I like straight line quilting, so I might then do lots of straight lines. It's up to you on how you want to quilt it, but we're skipping that because it's just something on your sideboard, this, isn't it? And it saves a bit of money as well. So, and you're not doing the bagging idea. We want to do the binding.
Well, we thought it'd be a nice useful skill to show people as well, a bit of binding.
Indeed. So binding for us is the 2.5 inch strip. You can have binding in different sizes. Basically, the binding is the bit on the edge that really finishes off. Obviously, it's not a raw edge, but it would be like that.
I think that'll be lovely. I mean, a nice bit of contrast.
And it really finishes off. You can have thick binding, you can have thin binding, 2 inch, 2.5 inch, 3 inch, so forth. But a lot of quilters will use a 2.5 inch strip. So we cut off the width of the fabric, 2.5 inch strip, and if you put it up against your table runner, you can see we're not quite going to get out of one strip the length. So we've cut 4 strips off the bolts.
Yeah.
And then that will and we'll join them all together.
And we're doing that diagonal again.
And we will do, and it will go all the way around. So 4 strips should be enough. So the first job that we've got to do is to sew all our strips into one massive long
so you put it all together in one go.
Yeah. So your job now will be, because I think you've learned how to sew together, haven't you? Yeah. So I always do it. I never pin, cross.
And you do it from this diagonal.
Indeed, yeah, because ultimately we're then going to fold over.
Yeah. And that way you get rid of that extra bulk as well.
You do. Some people do like a straight seam because they're just, speediness. But it's all down to personal preference. All right. So sew all the pieces together and then make one long line, and then we'll see you back here. So we've now sewn all the strips together, and it's going to be folded back like so. So we chain piece, so we've now just got to cut that off 1/4 inch. You can do it with a rotary cutter and a ruler, or as always you could just eyeball it and just cut off.
Fab.
Okay, so we'll do that all along the line, and then we'll go over to the sewing machine, ironing board, to iron in half. So we've got our long strip now, our massive long binding strip. So our job now is to sew it raw edge to raw edge to the edge. Now we're going to start halfway down.
Oh, why are you starting halfway down?
Just nice. We don't want to start up here on a corner, so we're going to start halfway down. We're going to leave a foot tail just to make it easier when we join up, and we're going to start.
How does that make it easier when it joins up?
You'll know when you come to join up. Okay. Because joining up is really difficult.
Okay.
So it gives you some excess, so you can join up easily. So we're going to start there, 1/4 inch seam, and we are just going to sew it all down, raw edge to raw edge, sew it all the way down. Now we're sewing it down to the top, because when it's sewn down we're going to fold over and then hand sew it to the back. Now there are some ways of doing binding where you machine stitch it to the back, fold it over, so it'll be like that, and then machine stitch again. But sometimes when you machine stitch again from the front, it sometimes doesn't meet up on the back. So I don't like that way. So classic way, machine stitch the front and then fold it over and then pass it to Jen to then hand stitch down. Okay.
Fabulous.
Oh, we'll talk about the mitered corners when we get there. Yeah, we're just going to do the straight edge first. So we've come down our first straight edge and we're now at the corner, and that's the more challenging part, but don't let the mitered corners put you off, because actually it's very easy. So you're going to sew all the way down your straight edge to 1/4 inch away from the end. So yeah, sometimes you can measure how far away from your presser foot. Oh, sorry, I've got a humbug. So I know my 1/4 inch is at that point, so I'll keep going down. To there, 1/4 of an inch. And then what you do, lift your presser foot up, leave your needle down, turn it and sew off the corner. Can you see the corner there? Can you get in closely? Can you zoom in? Oh yeah. So you can see the bottom bit. So I'm sewing off right to the corner. Okay, I'm going to pull it out.
So we've taken it out and we've now just
sewn off the corner, because that angle is the angle there. And you fold it up. Can you see the straight line edge should carry on with the straight edge there? Now that's going off at that angle makes it easier to fold up. Some people will sew straight off, but when you sew straight off there, you can't get your full mitered corner edge, whereas that's perfect. So once it's folded up the top, all you do then is flip down.
So you leave a certain amount of material there?
No, because it's going to be folded.
Yes, so you've got your fold. Ah, okay.
So I've now got my flat edge across the top and a perfect flat edge down the side, and just put that back in the machine and carry on 1/4 of an inch down. It's my favourite part of the binding. Always perfect, aren't we, Jen?
We are.
So we're coming down the last side. I'm going to just finish there. Now, we have to join the end. That was our start. That was our start, and that was our little tail left. And this is our binding here. And we now have to join the two. We've got lots of excess here, so we can cut. That was my able assistant's glasses.
Sorry.
I just cut that excess off because we don't need that. So we now somehow have to join that, so it then can be look pretty and nice and finished. The reason why we stopped sewing further up, and the reason why we left our tail here, as I said, was to make it easier, because we're going to have to put this into the sewing machine to sew the same diagonal like we did before. So we have to pick that up and go to the sewing machine, and that's when it helps that you don't have,
it's not all,
because if you'd sewed right up to the edge, if you sewed right down there, you couldn't do it. Now, there are many ways of working out the maths of how to join your excess. Some people use rulers, some people use gadgets, some people use highly complicated maths. We don't do that. The best thing I learned was from Jenny of Missouri Star Quilt Company. Here's, I'll show you now. Just cut my selvage off. So we've got to sew this end to that, and the tip, best tip, no need for a ruler, is whichever length you're using for your binding, and we're using 2.5 inch strip, you cut your top, the length of the binding over. So we're using 2.5 inch strips, so we're going to cut the top strip 2.5 inches over the bottom one, and it's that simple. Don't need any ruler, you don't need to do anything fancy. So there's our 2.5 inch strip. I just eyeball it. There we go. We're now going to lay that flat, just like we were sewing our binding strips together. Lay that one over. Same thing again with a cross, leave a little bit on the edge, and we're going to sew down the diagonal. And then it will fold over like that, and then it will be beautiful and lay down flat, guarantee it. Okay, so go to the sewing machine and lay that down, and then because we haven't sewn it all the way down, we can actually really easily take it to our sewing machine and sew. See? It's because we didn't sew it all down. All right. So I've just finished and I went back over where I started, so it's all completely now joined. And now you can see the corner. So when you come to hand binding down, oh, look at that. Perfect corner.
So then on the other side, it just tucks in really nicely, so it covers it all up. Oh, and it folds over.
Look at that.
Lovely.
Perfect. So you've just got to hand sew just over the sew line.
So what do you mean by over the sew line? So as in, oh, this.
Yeah, that's your guide. That'll keep you a straight line, you see.
Okay.
So you'll fold. And actually that fleur-de-lis pattern or whatever it is the good colour, because it's actually the same as your biscuit, isn't it?
It's almost like we planned it.
So you just need to choose a thread that's the same as your binding. So you need to try and find a navy-ish, whatever colour that is. Not really navy, is it? What colour would you call that?
Petrol.
Petrol. Good. Yes. Petrol thread, and sew. And there are ways. We maybe we could do a how to hand sew the corner down, but there are a billion other videos on YouTube. You might want to watch those as well. But maybe we can do that another time.
Yes. For now, we'll just get it sewn, and we'll come back with it all finished up.
Yeah. Fabulous.
So we are all finished up, as you can see. If you'd like to take that end, Jen, we're all finished up, and really, really pleased with the outcome. Sadly, Ting isn't here to help just with the outro, so thank you very much, Ting. You have been a legend. The lovely Jen actually did all the hand stitching at the back. Have you any tips or things you'd like to share about this hand stitching? So this is the hand stitching of the binding onto the back.
Yeah, because that was the last where we left it, wasn't it?
Yes.
So we've just sewn it down.
Yeah, and then Jen took over and did the last bit of hand stitching. I have a sore arm, so Jen was a legend and stepped in.
That's a good excuse, that sore arm. Basically, it's just turn over the binding to the edge of where your quilting ends.
Yeah.
Bring it down. You usually end up with a little more on this side than you do on the front.
Yes.
But that's okay because you filled this space.
Yeah.
Then, so you haven't got loose fabric.
Yes.
Match your thread to the binding, not the backing. And then...
Because in this case you actually ended up using a bit of a grey, didn't you? Because the
grey
blue
rather
didn't.
than blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. But grey is a good blender. It tends to go with most things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you can't find the correct colour, because obviously we would have liked that petrol blue.
Blue would have been great,
but that's I suppose that's the tip, isn't it? If you can't find your colour,
go with the grey.
Maybe grey will. And then you just...
And then tiny little stitches. You pick up on the backing, and then along, and you come out right with your needle right on the edge of the binding.
Yes.
And from that, where you come out on the binding, you go directly under, pick up a couple of threads, and 1/4 of an inch along, come out on the binding again.
Fabulous. So you'll see lots of clothes of this, but I'm so impressed with how it's just turned out. And I picked this up yesterday from Jen, and I was squeaking with excitement.
It's phenomenal for your first effort, I think.
So pleased.
And I have to say, because I was really worried that because it had no wadding in, it would be like really, really flimsy and a bit naff.
And
as in,
I think it's perfect for where it's going. On that sideboard,
for the sideboard.
With things on
top it. Yeah.
I think it's...
And that's the thing. I'm going to have things on this, so it's not as if it's...
It's not across the bottom of the bed. Or, no.
But it's a decorative one. It's not one that's going to take heavy bashing. So, I mean, if it was like the kitchen table... maybe you would want wadding in there.
Quite possibly, just to give that extra bit of support.
But also, let's talk about this, that the wadding does add a cost to it. I mean, quilting is expensive. So actually, that's still got body, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Even without the wadding. So, if money is tight, then cut out the wadding and just go for that, because that sits. And when you've got, your pots on there, or placemat, or whatever, vases.
Don't need it. And if you want a bit more body, I mean, when I started patchworking, money was very tight, and I shudder to admit it, but I used to buy flannelette sheeting.
Yes.
You know, the fluffy...
Yeah, yeah, like a fleece sort of thing.
Yeah, thin,
yes, yes,
but thicker than cotton sheets.
And off the market, you could probably buy that.
You could buy it off the bolt.
Yeah.
And use that for wadding.
Yeah.
And it just gives it a little more, but no puffiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just gives it a bit more body.
Fabulous.
Yeah. And a fraction of the price of what wadding can be. Because, I mean, we sell Quilter's Dream, and you know, it's like £13 a metre.
Yeah, but so for starting off or for cutting down on your costs, that's ace. But I think the work that you put in, the way that Ting taught you.
Yes. Because Ting has lots of experience. I know we do tend to joke, but he is incredibly knowledgeable.
He's a clever boy.
And he's really helped me. And he's explained it in such a fashion that I could understand. You know what I mean? For somebody who's not made any kind of quilting before.
He's not fancy jargon.
No. Considering the amount of knowledge he has, it's so nice that he just keeps it nice and simple.
And you've got perfect points because of the pins.
Yes, the pins and the rubbing thing where you have that where you just match the seams.
Nest those seams,
and just that meeting point. It makes all the difference just knowing those wee things. And I was so pleased because when I unfolded them, because I did them all in one go and refused to open any, and then I opened them all at once and I was like, oh,
that's
perfect.
Very great.
Yeah, it is great when they match. It is great.
So pleased because I was doing that bit.
Even though we do say don't get too precious over it, because some people get so precious they then rip out and then they do it again and they can't get it to match.
The fun.
Yeah. And that was the thing. It was actually really good fun. But with those wee tips and the things that we've shared along the way, you should be able to do this. I thought this was going to be really complex, and it's not.
Because you're not a sewer of anything else, are you?
No, I've done a few bits in the past, but I haven't.
But you're not a professional stitcher.
No. There've been odds and sods here and there, and I can't remember when last I made a garment. It's been a few years now, so I'm very pleased.
Oh, you should
this has enticed me to do more, so I'm really, really pleased.
And the colours in that, what Sussex? Sorry.
Regency Sussex. Yes. So it shows off that collection really well. Actually.
Yeah. So we leave a link to that as well.
And that was charm pack. That's the charm pack, isn't it? The block is charm pack. This is the borders are yardage.
Yeah, and the binding is yardage as well.
Yes. Yeah, and all we had to do with the back was out of the width of fabric, but we did just have to piece just a little bit on there.
Yeah.
But that came out
of
the bottom of the leftover of the width of fabric, so we were all right. No, you wouldn't know. It's never going to be seen. Who cares?
But I am so pleased. Really, really pleased with that as my first thing.
You should feel very proud of yourself.
And it's been nice having a different video as well for the channel, isn't it? Seeing this tutorial.
So if you'd like to see more of these, or if there's anything in particular you'd like to see, do let us know, and we'll attempt it, or we'll find somebody who might know.
Probably, After our last one as well, I don't think we'll be doing many tutorials again.
No, expect a funny one from him at some point. It should be good fun.
Just a lot of work.
And that's the thing; they are a lot of work.
We've worked that one out, haven't we?
Yeah.
And you giving up your time for free. Ting gave his time up for free for 2 whole sessions.
We invaded his shop entirely, so he's trying to deal with customers.
It's like 4 or 5 hours, and it's like there are pros who could do it. So maybe we'll just every now and again do something.
It's good to have people like myself who are novices attempt these things, because if I can do it, somebody else can.
And that's what the channel is about as well, isn't it? It's about newbies. We're all newbies learning things, learning skills together. With your comments, we get your feedback as well, don't we?
It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm chuffed to pieces.
Girl.
Well done.
So that is it.
Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that little series, and maybe we might see some of your table runners being made.
Yes, that would be brilliant.
Wouldn't it?
If you do make this, please let us know. Send us pictures, tag us up on Instagram and things. The Woolpatch, you'll find social media down below. Let us know. That would be fantastic to see.
Oh, that'd be great.
And
wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing your next makes and your next makes.
Yes. So let us know what you're currently working on and how it's going. And we will see you in the next video.
Indeed. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.